Hello, my friend, and welcome to the 248th episode of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. If you missed my interview with Mark Ensign, go back. What a cool dude. I met him in our mastermind group. He played on Broadway, and how he broke into that gig by almost literally breaking in is worth hearing. And then how he decided to make the shift and how he did make the shift into being an entrepreneur and owning his own business is also a great story worth hearing. So go check that out. Next week, we've got Carrie Morgan coming up, the Blueprint Princess. You're in for a treat with her as well. What a great interview. And she used to run MMA events, actually promote them, her and her husband. If you gave me 1,000 guesses about what she used to do in her life, that would not have made the list. So another fascinating interview, hearing her story, how she and her husband made that shift into that and out of that. So you're in for a treat. Today we've got Peter Watz all the way from Sweden. I won't steal too much of the thunder, but I've known him and his wife for many years. His wife took one of my sales training classes that we did out at Infusionsoft, and I met her through the Infusionsoft community. They've been out here in Southern California doing a little wine tasting with us. A very interesting and kind couple. So look them up. She's the president of Joomla and the international organization. So they are go-getters in their own right. And I'll let you hear what Peter does in just a minute. But I've been talking about as well the Make Every Sale course. Check that out. Enroll now. Lifetime access. How many times do I have to say this? Lifetime access, 41 plus videos, private Facebook group, weekly calls, templates, boilerplate documents for contracts and proposals, and oh man, real-time support. I mean, I'm almost always online. If you absolutely have to reach me in an emergency and you're a member of the Make Every Sale group, you can reach me, okay? So you don't get real-time, all-the-time access, but I support my people, okay? So check that out, makeeverysale.com. Get you a good coach. Get in a good group of motivated people that'll help you grow, and you will grow, I promise, okay? If you need some one-on-one help, check out bestcrmforme.com to pick the right CRM, and then bestcrmhelp.com to get help not only with those tools, but anything related to sales and marketing that you might use a CRM for, including marketing automation sequences, building out your pipelines, landing pages, you name it, shopping cart integration, custom development through the APIs that different tools have. My team and I can help you with any of that, okay? bestcrmhelp.com. Now, let's bring on Peter. Peter Watz, my beer-drinking, wine-drinking friend, all the way from Lindinger, Stockholm, Sweden. Did I say that right?
Well, almost, Wes. It's
close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough. It's leading air. But anyway, thank you to...
Lindinger. All right. We'll have it phonetically spelled and linked to for our geographically challenged listeners. How's that?
Yeah, it's quite wonderful. Thank you.
Well, thanks for putting aside your dinner and agreeing to come on the show. You and I met several years ago. I met your wife through Infusionsoft. She attended one of my sales training courses, and I've seen you several times at various conferences, and you sent us some nice shot glasses after we drank a little vino here in the Temecula wine country.
Yeah, it was very nice, very nice.
Thank you for that. So we're going to talk about you, but your wife, real quick. Have I had her on the show? I don't think I have.
I think you did a call with her for 3 years ago,
long time
then after the recording, she got cold feet, so you didn't broadcast that one.
That's right. Now she is a guru in the Joomla world, right?
Yeah, she has been on the board of Open Source Matters for quite some time, and I think it's last 3 years she has been the president of Open Source Matters.
Joomla, yeah, that's very cool. And then you just stay at home and quietly knit little sweaters, right?
Well, not. I have my business full, so yes, no.
So for our listeners that may not know who you are or even where you live, would you mind taking a minute or two, give us a little rundown on you and your business, and then we'll dive down the rabbit hole?
Yes, please. Thank you. I'm at Lidingö in Stockholm, Sweden. Stockholm is the capital of Sweden. And don't mess with this around with Switzerland. It's quite another country. I know you guys. You don't. Everything is the same for you. So, okay.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, you're not the guy that makes the watches?
No, we got the polar bear on the street,
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yes.
Oh, so you're near Alaska then. Okay, now I understand.
Yeah, gold miner, diggers. Well, I'm digging gold in our companies. Me and my wife, we have a couple of companies together. We own 50-50, of course, and I've been around for quite some time. So I did get my calculator and see how many years I've been working with this. And actually, it's 28 years I have been working with sales training and sales system and that.
Very nice. And so the businesses you own with your wife, are they all technology related? Are they sales training, marketing, and all of the above?
It's actually all of the above. It's technical. We do some systems. We can program like PHP and C# and I don't know what we can do actually because we are very good at what we're doing, and all the way over to the sales training and strategies and the marketing strategies and we have at least two companies, or actually we have three companies. So one of the companies, it's PixPro Stockholm. It's the company that Sarah is running. And we have 7 employees, and we are the only Infusionsoft partner in Sweden. So we are helping them to achieve the small business or mid-sized business goals, because a mid-sized company in Sweden is like 15 to 50 people. And that is a small business for the US standard. I heard a story from IBM that the small office, home office, it's a turnover under $1 billion. I mean, I think we have a couple of those in Sweden total. Anyway, so the other company, it's actually, we have rebranded that to Peter Watz AB, AB for Inc. And I've actually been around quite wide, because the first time I started with sales, it was as a phone salesman. I was selling advertisement by the phone, and it started in 1989. And that was the time the cold calling actually worked. And somehow I got the people to call me back. And I have no clue who is it on the line, and what have I been talking to? Have I did the sale, or am I going to do the sale, or where am I in the funnel?
Right.
So I made a sales system based on the FileMaker program on the Macintosh.
Oh, so you just built it on your own?
Yeah.
So were you always technical, and then you just kind of fell into sales, or did you teach yourself the technical to improve your sales?
No, it was from a technical point, because I always like to have things, the data in order, so it's simple to get the data when I need it. And I'm a visual guy, so I see things. So when I saw the Macintosh first time in 1984, I was in love, because I have quite hard time to hit the right key, so the letter is going to be in the right command. And when the Macintosh was coming, I saw all the possibilities to do stuff. So I was the 16-year-old guy, the new kid on the block, moving from north of Sweden to Stockholm. And I was the guy who sold about 30 to 50% more than the old sales guy did. Because they didn't have any computers. They didn't have any sales system. So they didn't leave the name and number. So they did cold calling all the time. But I was the guy with two phones, because on one phone I get cold calls, on the other I got hot leads when they were calling back.
Now, were you an employee?
Yeah.
And how did you set it up to have two phones?
Well, I told my manager that I can increase the sales if I have two phones. And he believed in me.
And they just believed in you and set it up, huh?
Yeah, crazy guy, but I did the sales.
That's awesome.
Because when I got the phone call, I was answering, and I heard the name, and I was typing, and when I was typing and searching in my database, and I was reading the notes, I could turn over the call, the incoming call, to outgoing sales call. Mm-hmm. Oh, hi, Wes, how fine, nice to hear your voice again. Reading. Oh, yes, Wes, I was calling you for 2 weeks about this advertisement. So it was quite simple.
Right.
So this got my reputation went out the door on the market. So other was trying to hire me. So I actually started my own business like I was 17 or 18 years old. So then I was starting to build sales system for the media companies in Sweden.
Right.
And then after a couple of years, I went to staffing companies. So I have been working with one of the largest personal staffing companies to build the system. And, telecom businesses, it was quite fun before the 9/11.
Right.
All the business, totally, even in Sweden, we have no business for 2002 and 2003. Mm. Completely dead.
Right.
So actually, I started a new businesses because the old businesses, we had some problem with the landlord of our lease. He tricked me into a lease and away. So we started over, and then we started Pixpro, me and my wife, because my wife, I had started the business before I met her. So, and she was helping me a lot at the end. So we did start a new business, and Sarah got 50% and me 50%.
Right.
And then a couple of year later, I started another businesses, so we can have her company, so she can do what she wants to do, and my company, and do what I need to do. And of course, we're sharing everything because, well, we're a married couple.
Right.
So actually, for 5 years ago or 6 years ago, this database thing is actually quite fun, but my arm didn't like it, so I was forced to change my career. So Sarah was talking about a guy, Michael Port. He have written the book Yourself Solid and Beyond Book Solid,
right,
and a couple of other books. So she told me, Peter, you need to read this book because Michael has written a book about you. I didn't believe her. Can you imagine? So actually I was reading the book and she was right, but I never met him. And of course, I went to the mailing list and reading everything. I went to the webinar, and of course, he had an opportunity. He has an offer at the end. I don't know how this is going to work, but anyway, he had an offer. So I took the offer, and then I went to a self-study course, and at the end, I did buy his big thing.
Ah.
So after 6 months, I got certified Book Yourself Solid coach, the only one in Sweden. So since then, I have been working with Michael and his concept in the Swedish market. So today, I helping small businesses with the marketing, with personal growth, and where the business so they can book themselves solid.
So what year was that you got certified?
I was certified at 2012.
2012, okay. So kind of recently.
Yeah.
So how do things carry over internationally? Do the same follow-up sequences and nurturing, that Infusionsoft talks about, or on the same book yourself solid? I mean, the tactics and the techniques, taught and created in America, is it the same? Does it have to be modified very much for Sweden or for the overall European market?
Yeah, everything needs to first of thing. Well, we can read and speak English quite well, but you can't do business communication in English.
Right.
So everything must do in English.
Yeah, and I understand the language, but the overall culture, right?
It's a different culture because you can't be as an aggressive salesman in Sweden.
Right. And
because
is that true for all of Europe, or more so for Sweden?
Well, I know expert in the other countries. I think it's quite different. I think it's the same in Germany and of course in England. You're going to be more politely in England, and you're more going to be by the routine in Germany. So I haven't done business in other countries in Sweden, so I don't know.
Right.
But it's a quite different approach. So when I got the book yourself solid concept here for Sweden, I told Michael before I did the deal, I need to make this over so it fits the Swedish market. And he was simply said, well, okay, no problem, let's go.
Right, that's cool.
So because the main difference, I think. Service providers, that is my target market.
Okay.
I'm not helping salesmen to sell cars or computers or phones. They have their own sales training, and the sales training companies in Sweden they try to do the same training to service provider.
Right.
So, for an example, they try to teach a web designer or a lawyer or an accountant to do actually the same training as a car salesman or a computer salesman.
Right.
So and that is so wrong, because taking a lawyer for example, they don't want to sell themselves.
Right.
Because I'm a lawyer, I'm much better than a salesman. I'm not a simple salesman. So all the sales training we have in Sweden try to do a lawyer into a salesman.
Right.
And the lawyer, he has the profession. He are a lawyer, not a salesman. For a salesman, that is a profession. He do the deal. That's anything he do. Everything he do is he's only closing the deal. That is the main purpose of a salesman.
Right.
But a lawyer, that main focus he had is to make different kind of deals and stay out of court and what they are now doing.
Right.
But they need to sell themselves also, but they don't want to take the word salesman in the month. So I helping them with the Book Yourself Solid concept and with Infusionsoft funnel and all the mail and different kind of campaigns.
Right.
So it's quite the same, but it's a completely different attitude and a different kind of mindset that I'm teaching the lawyer to make more deals.
Right. Yep, you gotta understand your role, but everybody's in sales, right?
Yeah, but I'm not. Yes, everybody tell me that, and yes, of course we are. But if I'm trying to teach sales to a lawyer, here he is going to shut his ears and starting to think about his car or his wife or his dinner tonight because he don't understand what I'm talking about. Make more deals, go for the close, ABC, always be closing.
I can't believe that movie exists in Sweden. I want to kill that movie.
and yes, and so the difference between the U.S. market, everybody is in sales, and almost everybody likes to sales. I understand.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
Okay, only in the movies.
Everybody hates sales and marketing. Every entrepreneur I talk to, it's the last thing they want to do. That's why they're struggling, because they haven't embraced that. Because that's what I mean by everybody is in sales. Now, they may not admit it. They may not want it to be. But every person in your company can sour a deal, right? With a bad attitude, with being rude. There was a guy just last week made a crazy comment on Twitter about the Navy SEAL widow that was in Congress, for Trump's speech, and he got fired within 18 hours. He was fired because even though it was a private account, right, his own personal account. But, of course, on the Internet, there's no delete button. So people looked
and nothing is personal.
Yeah, they looked up where he worked. So then they started tagging his company, and they were overwhelmed. So he got fired, because he was dragging down his company. So we're all in sales, whether we like it or not,
Yeah, but the word sales turn off anybody.
Yes.
Except the salesman. Who is hunting the commission and the nice watch on the wrist and the nice car outside. But so if we use different kind of words, so we actually can make this lawyer to do one or two, maybe three things extra. And don't call it sales. And if the lawyer teach himself to do that, he got more sales.
Right.
With no feeling of being a salesman. And that is my expertise.
Yep.
So I'm the only sales trainer in Sweden that don't teach sales.
So what's the secret? How do you make a sale without being salesy?
The secret is to actually be interested in the other person. To build the relationship, building trust, and always be there. Well, actually, he can't do that, but we have the nice technology like Infusionsoft, so you can actually be at the potential client's desk all the time. Mm-hmm. If he needs some information, he go on the internet and he has some retarget advertisement that you can run from Infusionsoft, and you can track what these potential clients are doing. So we can send him a mail and tap him on the shoulder.
Right.
Yeah, can I give you some tips about this? Maybe you're interested in this one. And by the way, if you don't have the time to make this, please call me. I can help you.
Right.
It's a simple line or maybe two sentences that you can be at his desk when he needs that.
Right. So, I need to get Michael Port on here. It's so funny. I've got his book. A friend of mine, actually, a client, got me his book years ago. And he said, "Oh yeah, obviously you're a follower of Michael Port." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." He's like, "Everything you do, blah blah." I'm like, "I've never even heard of the guy." So this was years ago, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, all of your follow up and blah blah blah. Everything you talk about is right out of his book." I'm like, "Okay," and he got me his book. I'm like, "Yeah, it's pretty good stuff."
And this is the nice things about the Booker Self-Solid concept. It's a structure. You have 4 different kind of pieces, modules. You have 16 chapters in the book. And the nice thing about this structure that I can put in my 20 years of experience into this structure.
Right.
And when I now have been working with this structure for over 5 years, I think it's going to. I have noticed one thing that Michael doesn't talk so much about. He mentioned it in chapter 3 about the personal brand, and that is your personal development. So I'm writing my own book now in Swedish first, and maybe in English. But it's the personal experience and the personal what it's called. If you don't believe in yourself, how can anybody else believe in you then?
Right.
So before you go out to build your business, before you go out and market yourself, you need to work on yourself first.
Right.
So you can go in front of your target market and tell them that I can help you with this problem you have.
Right.
So actually in my version of the book, I'm writing quite much about how to grow your self-confidence. So you actually have the courage to do the business, the courage to build your business, and the courage to go out and market yourself, to take contact with the editors in the newspapers and the bloggers and the YouTubers and the different kind of channels you need to be in.
Well, Zig Ziglar always talked about that, right? He said, the selling is the transference of a feeling, and that feeling is confidence.
Yeah.
And if you're not confident, the prospect can pick up on that. And I always do a demo, where I show people they're confident. The salesperson is confident, motivated, showing their stuff. And then when it turns to price, their demeanor changes. You can see them literally just crawl back into their shell. And so they're not confident in the price. They're not confident talking about money. It sends a weird signal. The prospect can't really put their finger on it, but that's when they're like, yeah, thanks, just give us a quote. We're going to think it over. Yeah, and you're screwed all because you didn't sell yourself. And so, that's a great point that you've got to be confident. Otherwise, find another job.
Yeah. Because if you don't have the courage to go in front of them and tell them that you are going to need to buy my services, well, you can close the business.
Right.
Closing your own business, not the deal.
Yeah. You'll be shutting your doors.
Yeah. So this is something that I'm really interested into. What is the main thing that's stopping people to do this?
Right.
Well, it's quite simple, because all people, or almost all people, they don't want to be turned down.
Right.
If you're at the bar and you go to a woman and ask her for a dance, you want to have a dance and you don't want to have a no.
Right.
So most people, they don't go and ask the woman, can we dance? Because they are so afraid to get turned down.
Right.
So that is the one thing, the main thing, the salespeople or the service provider, in my case, they don't go and ask people, hi, do you want to hire me? Right. Because they don't want to get a no.
Yeah, but why even start that way, right? Why not start with, should we even be having a conversation?
Yes.
I'm a big fan of sorting, sifting, and separating, right? Disqualifying.
Yeah, and there we have the red policy, the red velvet rope policy from the Michael Port. So you're not going to help all the people. You can't help them all.
Right.
And you shouldn't do that. You need to have a target market, and you can't help everybody in that target market also. You are going to go into a niche market in that target market.
Right.
Because many people that I'm helping, they have no idea how many clients they actually need.
Right.
They don't have a figure of that. So if you do the math in Swedish kronor, well, we're not going to do that anyway. But if we do the math, when I'm doing the math with my clients, they're actually quite surprised. Well, Peter, I'm going to only have 20 customers, or like maybe 50. One of the biggest number I calculated for a business, it was 150 customers a year.
That's what they needed?
Yeah. That's all.
But they probably had no idea, huh?
No, because they think, well, I must take everybody who called me or send me a mail because I need to have all the customers I need because I don't know how many, but I must have this business.
Right.
And when I'm telling them, well, you only need to have like 50 customers a year in average. And that is so many people that ride in your subway this morning.
So you're saying that the concept there is they could dial it back a little bit, relax a little bit, ask a couple of qualifying or even disqualifying questions to see if there's even a fit.
Yeah,
before you start diving in with the whole presentation and everything else.
Yes, because you can't help everybody. It's completely. We have 9 million or soon 10 million people in Sweden. It's like New York, and we don't need most companies, service providers, don't need to have so many customers that they think they need. So we're always starting to do the business and do the math, and in that moment. They are being happy. Well, Peter, wow. So then we take a look at the relevant role policy. So they're only working with the people that they actually can help and where they have the feelings on the right place. And then they can start to turn down people and they can look at the right target market and make the name of themselves in that market. So they know the business, they know the problems, they know how to communicate with them.
Right.
And then you are the expert in your field in that target market.
Yeah, I know I'm dealing with somebody that's going to have issues when I ask them, who's your client, who's your target market? And go, oh, everybody.
Yeah.
Like, oh. Wow.
And that is so wrong. Trust me.
Even if you sell water, right? Well, everybody needs water. You need water to live, right? It doesn't mean everybody's going to pay for your water.
No.
Is it in a vending machine? Do you sell it by the jug and, home delivery? Okay, great. They still may not pay for it. So even water is not for everybody.
Yeah.
So you've got to. Yeah, that's why, we always start out with like the persona, right? It's like, who's your ideal persona? Who's the target market? Start with who. Once you're clear on who, then you know what to offer them, because you may have great beef, right? But if your target market is vegetarians, you won't be able to give it away. Right?
Then you have problems at the barbecue. Yeah.
So, you're selling beef, right? I mean, if you're a vegan restaurant, right, or a vegan chef, I don't know, you probably don't want to go to the NRA conference, right? You're going to get a bunch of hunters there, and sure, there might be a handful of vegans, but when you got 80,000 people showing up that love guns, I don't know, maybe bring some hamburgers and some ribs. That'll probably sell better than a vegan sandwich, right? You got to start with who.
Yeah, and actually before you start with who, you need to start with why.
Okay.
Why am I going to work with this target market? Or actually, why am I going to work as a service provider?
Right.
What is your thought when you're waking up in the morning?
Right.
Is it, well, I'm going to make the big buck today because I want to have that car or I would like to have that watch? Or is it, well, today I'm going to help 4 companies, 4 people to make better life.
Right.
Like Tony Robbins, but he has like 4,000 a day. So why are you doing what you're doing?
Right.
Is it because you can't do anything else, or is it your passion that drives you? Because this is one of the things that the potential clients want to know. If they're going to choose you because you're after the big bucks, or are you choosing the other guy because he has the heart at the right place?
Yeah, exactly.
So you always need to start with yourself, and then when you have that, you can go to the next place, next step, and go to the target market, find the niche market, and start communicate with them on their own terms.
Right. Yeah, I see people. I was talking with a guy last week, and he's a CPA at a firm, and like a friend of his. Like his neighbor he grew up with, his dad is a dentist, and his dad turned his business around, and so he got to see it kind of up close, but he wasn't involved in it. He's just a CPA who has a friend whose dad is a dentist that grew his business, and so he wanted to go after helping dentists in his city and to grow their business. And I was like, why? Why is it? What's your affinity, right? What's your connection with that? And when we were done, it's like we realized there was no connection. He was just kind of going where the money was instead of, he didn't really have a clear why.
And the customer feels that, and they don't want to do the business.
Exactly. I mean, he was struggling. He didn't have any sales. He was doing all the right things on paper, right? He had ClickFunnels and was buying some Facebook ads and whatever. He was going through the motions, but, following the letter of the law, right, in marketing, but not the spirit of the law. And so without that heart and soul, it was just a hollow, effort to try to make some money off of dentists. And it's just, he's going to struggle.
And actually, when you're talking about dentists, I'm afraid of dentists. And I know it's quite much money in the dentist profession here in Sweden, and it's quite expensive to go to the dentist. And I know it's a gold mine for me, but I can't go into dentists because when I feel the smell of the dentist, I'm like 6 years old and I would like to throw up. I have some big issues with the smell of dentist. It's only people, and I hope I don't offend anybody. But it's a very nice profession.
Well, maybe dentists are afraid of your smell.
I don't care. I'm not going to be there. And I know I have a business colleague in Phoenix. She's working with dentists. That is her target market, and I think she's making a good living for herself.
Right.
But I can't help.
So there are dentists out there though that could cater to you, right? There's out here in Southern California. There's a company that markets sedation dentistry because he's talking about they're going after people that are afraid of the dentist, right? People that need a lot of work done, and so it's going to be expensive, it's going to be painful, but they have very good ads, and it's so funny. Like I don't even listen to AM radio anymore. I mean I don't drive very much, and when I do, I'm listening to either satellite radio or audiobooks or podcasts, but I still know this ad. And so they have found that niche, right? They're not going after orthodontics. They're not going after general care. They have, and they have the hosts do the reading of the ad, right? It's not like, okay, we're going to go to a commercial and be right back. The guys read it and they're like, hey, yeah, you. Do you have disgusting teeth? Like, are they like yellow and black and rotting out? Yeah, you know who you are. You need dental work, right? But you're afraid of the dentist. Sedation dentistry, and they have the phone number. And so they have a very clear why and a very clear who, right? This dentist, I'm assuming he has a clear why, right? He's a good dentist, motivated to grow his practice, and he's very clear on who.
Yeah.
And they always say, deliver a powerful message in a powerful manner. So these guys just pummel the radio with these sedation dentistry ads. And you know it's working because they keep running the ads, right? If the ad wasn't working, they would have stopped it or they would have changed it. But forever and a day, I've heard that ad.
Yeah, and he owns that market.
Oh, for sure.
So it's going to be so hard if somebody else tried to enter his niche, because he owns that market, and he doesn't need to grow anymore.
Yeah, and
because it's so many people that he needs his help. So he's booked solid, and he can expand and hire more dentists, and he's owned that market.
Or raises prices, but I know my in-laws have had dental work, and it is so expensive. It's thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. And so, this isn't a $50 or even a $500 deal, right? So people, for the right surgeon, for something big like that, I bet you people drive up from San Diego. They probably drive an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours even to get good work done on something that's expensive like that. So, he's just gotten very clear, and I don't see too many people really pounding the airwaves, pounding the inbox like this to deliver a powerful message in a powerful manner. But he can do it because he's clear on his who. He knows who he's going after, and I always tell people, when you have a great ad, keep running it. But your goal is always to try to beat your best performing ad, because eventually that ad will stop working. That ad fatigue will kick in. And I think they modify that, or they address the ad fatigue issue by changing it up a little bit. They're not reading the exact same thing every time. It's not some cheesy music, here comes that ad. And it's kind of like Geico, right? Geico, they may have the same music, but it's different people. It's cavemen, it's celebrities, it's regular people, it's a lizard. So that's how they,
it's the same thing in my ears, but anyway.
Yeah. So you got to keep changing it up,
Yeah, but Wes, get him on this call, not this call, but do a podcast with him, because ask him why he choose that target market, and then you're going to know his why. And I can bet some money, or a beer or two, or maybe wine. I can bet you he does this because he was afraid of the dentist when he was a child.
That's quite possible. Or just he was a dentist, and obviously you want to go where the money is, right? And
well, no, you want first to go after your why, and when you're working with your why and you have the passion and the love for that business, the money is coming after you.
Oh, I agree, and I will reach out to this guy, see if I can find him. See if he does interviews. Because my educated guess would be that, he loved being a dentist, and he got in, and maybe the practice was growing okay, maybe it was a little slow, maybe he was struggling. But as he's bumping along, he's like, okay, here's a teeth cleaning and an exam, $149. And then somebody comes in with a big job, right? He's like, oh my gosh. Here's a $23,000 job. How can I get more of those, right? And
maybe
less of the cleanings and exams. But then he starts asking around, and people are like, yeah, I need work. Well, how come you don't come in? Well, it's just I'm afraid of the dentist. It's so painful. It's blah, blah, blah. And he's like, okay, I see an opportunity here. Maybe, but I think his why is because he was afraid of dentists when he was a kid, or maybe I hope so. Anyway, I hope so. All right.
So please get him on the podcast.
We're gonna bet some beer on this one.
Yes. So this is this 3-step method that I have been discovering after I've been working with the Book Yourself Solid concept for many years. That's starting with your personal development first, and then build your business with routines, with processes, with documentation, because your potential clients would like to see that is actually a real business.
Yep.
And then, just then, you started with marketing.
Right.
And of course, in Infusionsoft, that was actually, it was Michael Michael Porter. He was using Infusionsoft, and I looked into that. And actually, Sarah had looked into the Infusionsoft 2 years earlier, but she didn't tell me. And so you need to have some kind of systems that can help you with your process and with your routines. Because when you're struggling to do the businesses, you need some help to do the mailing and then the upcoming follow-up and everything that you can do in Infusionsoft. So actually, I bought Infusionsoft when I have 0 clients.
Oh, you bought it when you had 0 clients.
Yeah, so I bought it and started to build my email list directly into Infusionsoft.
Now, is that because, did you buy it right when you were starting the Book Yourself Solid program?
Yeah, because I'm trying to reach out to my old FileMaker IT clients, and I was talking to them that I'm going to help you with your marketing. Yes, Peter, that sounds lovely, but can you help me with FileMaker first? Well, I don't want to do FileMakers because my arm is hurting like, I can't do that. Can we just talk about the marketing strategy that you can get more clients? Right. Yes, but can you help me with FileMaker first?
So you were known as the tech guy, and they didn't see you as a sales and marketing guy.
No.
So you just had to start from scratch.
So I'm starting from scratch. No potential clients from the beginning. So I'm starting with a target market, and I was helping them for 2 years. And
so how did you get your first client? Were you still doing outbound calling? Did you build a website, drive ads?
I built a website, and then with old contacts, I went to a venue that they had some American speaker, I don't know his name, and I made a postcard. So I had invested 500 postcard with my information on it and the Book Yourself Solid structure on the front side. And on the top of the postcard it was, do you think marketing and sales are hard? With this structure and my help, it's easy.
Nice.
And and then on the other side of the postcard, it was some more information and my contact information. So actually, it was one guy. I was handing out like 300 postcard, and one guy. You were just
handing them out, or were you mailing them?
Yeah. No, I was handing it out in this venue that they had the American speaker guy on.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you handed out 300 at one event?
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
So one guy was calling me a couple of days later, and he told me, Peter, I would like to hire you.
Okay.
And I'm starting to ask him questions about his target market and his business. And I told him, well, you're not fitting my red velvet rope policy.
Oh, so you told him no.
And he told me, yeah, I told him no. And he told me, well, that's BS. I would like to meet you because I would like to hire you. and he was very, and I told him, well, okay, I can meet you once and see, so I can turn you down again. Okay, let's meet. And he came over to me and starting to work, and I told him, well, actually, I think I can help you.
So you made the prospect sell you on why you should take his money.
Yeah. That is actually the best sales technique. Tell the customer, well, you can't buy.
Right. But this wasn't a tactic or a ploy. I mean, you sincerely believed that he wasn't a fit.
Yeah.
Because I think too many people try to play games. The old, they call it the takeaway close, right? And they're being coy and it can kind of bite you on the butt. The key is just to be sincere. I cover that as well, working with people, and you got to get to the heart of the matter. You got to get to the truth, right?
Yeah, because you're a service provider, you're helping. Because when I got the deal with him, that was when after that my work, my profession starting.
Right.
So I had him for originally it was 10 months. But after half the project, he told me, Peter, I'm going to change my business and I would like to start again.
Oh.
Well, it's your money, so take it away. So we started over. So actually, I had him like for 15 months. I had this customer.
Now, how did you know what to sell him, right? This is your first customer. How do you know what to offer, what to price? How do you know you're not overcommitting, right, or overcharging? I mean, how did you find that happy medium with your first customer?
And that is a very good question, because if I didn't have Michael and his staff and his network, and if I didn't have this training that I got from him and his team, I have no clue. But now I have this network in those days, and of course I still have it, but in those days I was totally green. I have no idea. So I asked them, well, how I'm going to do this? So it was quite simple. So I have almost all the information in my head before I reached out to Michael. But when I got certified, I had his structures. Mm-hmm. And then it was so simple for me to put in my knowledge and all my experience in that structure and to show the customers, well, this is going to be like this. Right. So first we're going to start with the rabbit row policy, and then we're going to talk about this and that and boo-ba-boo-bee and in these pictures. So this is your 10 month. And he said, okay, let's go.
Right.
And I told him, can I have a writing on that? And he was laughing because I didn't believe in myself then in the same experience that I have today.
Right. Now, was the customer at all upset, like, hey, you should have given me different guidance so I didn't waste all these 10 months? Or, did you have a different relationship? Did you have other advisors and you were simply helping with sales and marketing?
Actually, when I was turning him down, he went to others, and he did he did go to different kind of firms and ask about, can you help me, and he got quotes from them, and then he got even more eager to get me and my knowledge and that. So he's actually a very good friend of mine today.
Oh, good. Very nice.
So he's a very nice man, and he did a total makeover himself.
Right.
So today he's a carpenter, and he has like 15 employees or something like that.
Right.
So
very nice.
So it's so funny to help others to succeed.
Yeah. Well, this has been fantastic. So by the time we go live, you're going to have an English version of your website, right? So we can send people to you?
Yes. It's the URL is Peter Watz, WATZ, .se.
All right. Now you've committed.
Yeah.
And then
thank you very much, Wes.
So when are we going to see you in the U.S.?
Well, maybe in this summer. I'm not going to Icon because our daughter is turning 16, and Sarah is going to Icon in Phoenix.
Yep.
So I'm not coming then. And maybe I go to the FileMaker conference in Phoenix this summer.
Right.
But latest in November at PartnerCon.
Well, you're supposed to go to Phoenix now when it's frozen in Sweden and not melting in Phoenix. So I'm going to get you an almanac, okay, and a little weather subscription, all right, because I'm here to help.
Thank you, Wes. Thank you.
All right, Peter Watz, all the way from, Lindinger. I don't know, I didn't say that right, did I? Lindinger. Lidinger.
Yeah, that's good.
There you go.
And then we can start to have this öl.
All right. Hey, you told me it's something about beer, so I'm motivated to learn it.
Oh, quite nice.
All right. Peter Watz, thanks for coming on the Sales Podcast. It's been great.
Great. Thank you, Wes.
I love hearing stories of people that cut their teeth on cold calling. People still say it doesn't work, but you know what? It does work. Making outbound calls to businesses does still work. Most people just don't know how to do it, and they're wimps. Now, granted, I don't have to do that anymore right now, but I do make some outbound calls as I enter a new niche or we offer a new service. I will make calls. Now, yeah, it's not a true cold call. I don't think cold calls exist anymore. Because of our access to technology and tools, you can digitally surround yourself, like Jack Kostakowski mentioned back a couple of episodes ago. Where was Jack? Number 245. You can digitally surround your prospects. You can find out stuff about them. But, I was doing that in the early 2000s when I was working at this test and measurement company. I looked up a database of Academy graduates, and I found out that a West Point grad was the president of one of Sprint's 3 divisions, and it just happened to be the division that I sold into. And this was around 2002, maybe early 2003, and he gave me a hunting license in the company. Literally, the same day, he replied with an email, CC'd his vice president, said, "Hey, help Wes." And that was it. So, was that a cold call or a cold email? It was, insofar as that person wasn't expecting to hear from me, did not request information from me, and had never heard of me. So in that regard, it was cold. But you know what? I looked him up. I saw that he was a West Point grad, and my subject line was something to the effect of, would you take pity on a lowly Air Force sales puke? It was something like that. And I told him who I was, what my class was, and the fact that, I also mentioned, obviously it was a targeted message because we had tools and technology that he was using, okay? So I knew that my competition was in there. I showed that I did a little bit of research and knew about him. And so, I wasn't hitting the guy up asking if he wanted to buy vacuum cleaners at work. Okay. He was already using a tool. I knew we had a better offering. I knew how to position that offering. I knew how to reference it. I knew how to reference case studies and other examples. So it piqued his interest. And then by me taking the time to look him up, it showed that I was different. And that opened the door. So was that a cold email and a cold voicemail? I don't think it was. Okay, but hey, you can decide. But again, I like people that have experience making calls. I always say, great marketing makes sales easy, but great selling makes great marketing possible. In other words, you don't just magically become a great marketer. You need money, you need funds. Somebody had to make the money to start the business to launch the marketing campaign in the first place. And great marketers understand what they're doing. They're persuading, they're connecting. They're getting the attention of busy, bombarded, distracted prospects. So they understand sales. So that's why I like Peter. He's just a laid back, calm guy. And I realized, English is a second language for him, although, as you saw, English is almost perfect. But so maybe that makes him a little more subdued than he is in his native tongue. But, we hung out together. He's a great guy, but very cerebral, right? Smart dude. He understands, PHP and C#. So he's coming at sales and entrepreneurship from an analytical side, of the DISC spectrum versus me being just a flamboyant, raucous sales guy. But you can see how with a process, you can be a great salesperson as an introvert or an extrovert. Because remember, whoever is in charge, whoever is asking the questions is in control of the sales call, right? And we as salespeople are in charge of structure. The prospect is in charge of content. So I think in a lot of ways, Peter had an advantage in accelerating his success because he approached it from an analytical standpoint, whereas I had to be beat over the head multiple times to figure out, hey, I better put some systems together. So I loved how he worked the phones, right? He understood his niche. He saw the opportunity with the Book Yourself Solid, and he jumped on it. He jumped into Infusionsoft when he had 0 clients. I did essentially the same thing. I had a handful of clients, very small, short training programs, nothing residual, nothing ongoing. And, when I bought it in 2008, it was $5,000 down and $300 a month. But I saw the power of the automation. I saw the power of having a good team and surrounding myself with motivated people with a big vision, and I jumped in. And then I became a product of the product. I didn't dabble with it. I didn't sit around complaining about its shortcomings. Yes, I would bang my head on the table. I still bang my head on the table with the shortcomings. But the ROI was obvious from the beginning. I saw the vision. I jumped in. I took action. I made the commitment, and I made it happen. So now my residual income pays for a family of 9. It puts food on the table and then some for a family of 9. So, hey, does it work? I don't know. You be the judge of that. I think so. So if you want access, though, to pick my brain on a daily basis, check out makeeverysale.com. I'm going to keep telling you, makeeverysale.com. Join us. Lifetime access to the recordings, the content, the videos, the training. Come on over, would you? All right. Now, do one more thing. Leave some comments. Let me know you're out there. Leave a 5-star review. Share this episode with your friends and family and coworkers. And as you do that, remember to sell different.